I'm Laura and I love boring things, and I'm not going to talk to you for 5 minutes about drills, but I love factoids and I think that nothing is actually boring if you read enough about it. But because I don't really ever get bored, what I thought I'd do is refer to the gospel of the internet to see what actually is boring. And so in a couple of seconds that might come up. Where is it? Anyway, I overexerted myself slightly by trying to cover too many topics, so I'm going to talk really quickly. But anyway, things people find boring, like maps and queuing and adverts and politics for some reason, because I guess people haven't watched the news in 3 years. Traffic jams, that sort of thing, a lot of waiting involved. But what I want to talk about first is maps. So maps, this is not going. Obviously, they look nice when they hang on the wall, but and they are quite challenging for the navigationally kind of bad people. But actually, I wanted to talk about paper towns, which are a copyright challenge. Why did you do that?
I'm just going to do it.
No, don't do it. They're a copyright trap for other map makers. Enter Aglo, which is a place that does not actually exist, but then started to exist because someone had a map that said Aglo, so they put a general store in Aglo, called it the Aglo General Store, and therefore became a real place. Thanks. Then I'm going to talk about dust. So dust, obviously, is about why I like dust is because it kind of covers the life and death journey that we're going to have. So dust is deadly. No.
You've got 20 seconds, go.
Well, you've fucked me up. This is the Baudelaire Depression, which is in the Sahara. This is the largest source of dust in the entire world. And this dust gets blown across the Atlantic into the rainforest where the phosphorus and iron gets put into the rainforest soil. And so it is a giver of life as well as also quite deadly. A sugar dust explosion actually killed 14 people in Georgia in 2008. But chickens like to take dust baths, like many other animals, but chickens actually will take dust baths even if there's no dust to take a bath in. Also, they are the closest living relative of the T-Rex, and they are the best, and I love them. Post, for anyone young, letters are kind of like 3D printed emails, and you can send them all over the world. And they're actually kept track of by one spreadsheet with about 508,000 cells run by the United Postal Union. It's a brilliant spreadsheet and I love it, but I haven't got enough time to talk about it all. But it will tell you the price of every single journey that you could possibly make. And the tiny art that is on those envelopes is decided by a slightly controversial group of people called the Stamp Advisory Committee. They caused a bit of controversy by creating a set of stamps to showcase women in the 21st century, but people didn't really like that because I guess the patriarchy or something. So next up is queuing. We all hate queuing. This isn't going to make queuing much more interesting, but there is some quite interesting psychology behind it in that if you're in a queue, and you might decide to leave it, but you won't if people join it behind you because suddenly your space has value. So you'll just wait it out, even if it's pointless. And the best way to queue is like a snake. So if you are in tiny little queues all up to one little endpoint like this, you'll get much more frustrated as each queue moves on its own and yours doesn't because you've chosen the wrong queue. Now in London, as you know, they like to run up the escalators on one side and stand on the other, but obviously they're not making use of the space available to them on said escalator, and therefore you'll have to wait longer to get to your destination. So if we took up the entire width of the step, then we'd get places quicker, so that would be good. Then we've got plugs, and I love the British plug. It's an example of amazing design. It has an earth pin, which is good. You'll notice in the socket it has two little kind of I don't know what you call them, kind of gates, that if you plug in the top part, which is longer, they then move back so that the live and neutral go in second and you don't get fried. Now, inside the plug, you'll notice that the earth wire, for those of you that didn't school, that's the green one, is longer and curls around the space of the plug. So that means that when someone tugs out the wires at the bottom, the live and the neutral wires will be pulled out first and you will remain earth and you won't become Kentucky Fried Human. So anything can be interesting. I think that you'll never be bored again now. And if you are, you can just look at cute animals and be happy. And that was a 7 out of 10 talk for you.